Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I want to talk to you Hex and Counter guys, mostly, because that's who's subscribed to this channel mostly, and I wanted to ask you a question. So if you bear with me for a few minutes, I'd really like your feedback down below. Critical feedback. Just be nice about it. We have a pretty good community and stuff, and I'd like to get your feedback. One of the things as a wargamer that I struggle with, that I think a lot of us do, and is maybe a little bit ADD when it comes to stuff. I know I start stuff and then I see other stuff on Facebook or YouTube, or I watch a documentary and I think, oh, I gotta do that, right? With putting miniatures on the table, or play a vassal mod, or go out and buy a game and Hex and Counter, all that stuff. So that's not really what I'm here to talk. Well, kind of. It's kind of indirect, right? So lately I haven't put much Hex and Counter stuff, mostly because I've been busy with work. I've had some colds rifle through the house, stuff like that. Just been busy with family, private, personal stuff with family, stuff like that. That just makes life a little bit more chaotic. And for me, gaming is a fun thing to do. And if things are turned upside down temporary, it's kind of hard to do it sometimes because I feel like I should be focused on that stuff. So, but in the interim of the Hex and Counter stuff, which I'll come back to, I'm not leaving the Hex and Counter stuff. That's my favorite. That's my number one favorite thing that I like to do. I don't know why, but that's where it all started for me. It actually started with playing Risk at a friend's house at a sleepover, and we played that about 10 times till like 3-4 in the morning. And I was hooked on strategy type gaming, wargaming. I know that's not really a war game, but when you've never played one, it certainly is. And then eventually I got into Axis and Allies. That had a lot more meat on it. And then I started buying GDW games and stuff like that. So that's my favorite. So that's not going to go away. But my question is, I've been messing around with Tabletop Simulator. And another thing I love to do, and I like doing it at my store, is putting miniatures on the table. I still like Hex and Counter more. I don't know why. I think it's the history and the maps and all that. And you could fight huge engagements, right? So miniatures, you're kind of restricted. It's a little more abstract. But for some reason, I dig miniatures, right? And that's probably from the days, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the American heritage, American pictorial history of the American Civil War, but it has those bird's eye view maps where the Confederates are kind of a brownish red color and the Union are blue, and they had little numbers that told you to follow the battle, and it was like you were a bird flying over the battlefield. Those are a thing for me. I don't know why that floats my boat, but it does, right? So, that's kind of some of the miniature gaming stuff. So I'm curious. Here's my question to you Hex and Counter guys. I would like to include some of this on the channel, but I know that sometimes you can water down a channel with going too many directions. Now, the channel is about strategy gaming, so I do have, one computer game on there, and I thought about putting some other ones because I do some computer gaming from time to time. And that's easy to do. I just stream it and put it up there. I don't worry too much about editing or anything like that. When I'm doing vassal stuff, typically I kind of go into more of a explaining everything I'm doing in a teaching mode, because there's no built-in rules for vassal. You have to have the rules. You have to, most of the time you have to own the game, and I own all the ones I put up on YouTube. So it's more of an explain. Sometimes I go and do a tutorial. I don't whatever. But I've been messing around, and maybe with everything that's been going on the last couple of years in the world, with everybody being isolated and stuff, Tabletop Simulator has gotten a lot more popular. I didn't like it when I first did it. I thought it was clunky. All the miniatures were two-dimensional. Now there's tons of three-dimensional scan stuff. You can play Bolt Action, Flames of War, Black Powder, Hail Caesar, DBA, War of the Ring, strategy battle game, War Master. That's kind of what got me into it mostly, is because I liked War Master, but everything is out of print. It's the only thing you can get are undead and Empire armies for cheap typically. Everything else is super expensive, and it's out of print. So I was thinking, well, maybe I could play War Master on Tabletop Simulator solo and maybe do a campaign or something for myself and just enjoy that, because I really like campaigns. I like One-up battles are fun, but campaigns are my favorite. So again, I don't even know if I asked you the questions. I'll go back to it. The question is, would you guys be good with that kind of content on the channel, along with the Hex Encounter? And I'll come back to the Hex Encounter. I'm not quitting that. I'm just, get a little rabbit trail and find some fun stuff. But it'd be fun to put some of that stuff up. I've watched a little bit on YouTube. I'm certainly not a veteran YouTuber with a lot of knowledge, but I do know you can water down a channel if you go too many directions. And I think this is in the same wheelhouse, but I just want feedback from the community, right? If I get decent feedback, I'll throw some videos up and we'll see. If you're like, no, I have no interest in that, I wouldn't even want to see it ever, I'd probably leave the channel if you did. Well, let me know, because then if I get enough of that, I probably wouldn't do it. That's basically what I'm doing. Is I just wanted to show you guys. So some of you guys that haven't ever done anything with Tabletop Simulator, I just wanted to show you some of the neat things about it. This isn't too cool because the battle's over, but this was a vampire count army, so I got some ghouls and skellies, and I was doing this for a Mighty Empires campaign. So here's the casualties from the undead, and here's all the high elves. But just to kind of show you, I mean, you can zip down in there and you got three-dimensional figures, and it's pretty cool. Templates, you got die rollers. So like if you're over here and you can say, let's say I need to roll 20 dice for this attack, you fire that up and it'll roll them all, and normally it doesn't leave the other ones on there, but when you log in, if there's dice on there, this roller does that. It's a little glitch, and then it'll put them all down here, so that's pretty cool. I just wanted to show you a few of the things I'm doing. So here was like, I play War of the Ring. I have a ton of War of the Ring figures. My biggest problem is space. So I've always wanted to fight all the scenarios in the War of the Ring book. That's the one by Games Workshop. It's one of my favorite systems. It's probably my favorite miniature system, right? A lot of times you get those errors when you're importing. You can just ignore them. So here I set up the Fords of the Eisen. So if you look at the top-down view, it's kind of slowing up here a little bit. Not sure, maybe I can't do this too much because it is pretty robust on what it uses for memory and stuff. I guess it was just, that's all the farther I can zoom out. So this is a huge table, right? This is like I think it represents about a 12-foot by 6-foot table. And then somebody had made little stands, and so I went out and created War of the Ring stands. So I'm using this for disorder dice. You can go out and find disorder. You can find all kinds of stuff. I just didn't want to take the time, but I wanted to play the Fords of the Eisen. Mainly, I don't have room for it. I have the miniatures. I could fight it all myself with miniatures, which would be the ultimate, but I just don't have an area that I can set it up. Here's the flanking attack for those that are familiar with it. Got some bowmen. They're getting attacked by trolls and wards. And here's Sharku, the miniature for him. And the terrain, you can jazz up the table a little bit, put all these, basically the table I got was just a basic table. Rivers, you can, this river probably originally is the width of this white part, but you can resize anything you want, right? So, like, you can come up here and go, I want to play with, 900 millimeter figures on the table, right? So, anyway, I'm going to leave that. I don't want to save that. So that's War of the Ring. Here was the War Master thing I was talking about. I was messing around with. I haven't played it yet. I loaded up two 3,000-point armies, and it takes a few minutes to load. Once it loads, it plays fast, right? And it loads pretty quick. I'm wondering if maybe running the screen capture is taking a little bit. But here's some Bretonnians, and they're not the actual War Master figures. They're something that somebody created in here. I'm sure it's a figure from something, but here's the peasants, and here's the knights and the great Pegasus knights, and here's my leader on a griffin, and then over here we got the vampire count army I made. So we got some zomboids here, and some grave guard, and So, this is a 4x6 table. So, actually looks like I still have the vampires to continue to set up. So, I'll show you one more here, maybe. And here's another one that, like, it's out of print. You can't get it anymore. I know you can get 3D printed stuff, and that's pretty cool, but I built myself some, I think these are 1,500 point armies. Like, here's some Blood Angels somebody put in here that I was able to grab. But basically, if you find something you like on any table, you just right-click, save object, and it'll save it into your object folder. And then you have your saved objects, and here's all the stuff I have. There's War of the Ring, Warhammer Fantasy, War Master. Here's some tables. You can see different stuff that some of you might recognize, Epic Space Marine stuff, lots of terrain in here. I haven't sorted everything. I started making folders, found some dice I like. You can just save anything in there and then use it on your own table. So here's some Eldar from, now this was a little different, right? The person that made these Eldar, looks like they kind of made these skimmers out of like little blocks, whatever. But you're playing 2mm, so what's the big deal? You're not going to. But a lot of the stuff is scanned stuff. Here's some Tyranids. These look like these would be more modern models. You can resize anything you want. So I'm sure these are, bigger models that were scaled down after they painted them and scanned them in there or whatever. Here's some Orcs, right? Their version of the battle wagon versus the older one. I can't remember what these are called. Anyway, I can't remember, but and then here's here's all the orcs. There's two different clans, right? Blood Axe, Evil Sons. It's not a mini Gargant. It's Stampa. I think it's a Stampa. So I guess let's see. I don't have them on here. I was gonna zoom down and I thought I had a picture with them fighting. It looked pretty cool. Oops, I don't want objects. I want games. I don't think I do. Get that out of the way. No, I don't have that. But here I just got different armies. Here I found a Mighty Empires map online and pulled it in and made a board. And let's see what this has on it. Yeah, so this would be the start of a board, right? I haven't done anything yet. There's cities on there. This is actually a campaign I'm going to run for a group of 6 guys online and be able to play solitaire. So they're going to take care of managing the realm and buying their spies and assassins and stuff like that, because it's kind of hard to solo play all that stuff, which is a big part of the game. And then they'll give me orders for how they want their armies to explore and how they want their banners. And then when those banners meet on the field, I'm going to play them in Tabletop Simulator and send them the results with some flavor text, right? So, excuse me, basically saying, here's what happened in the battle, and maybe send a few pictures or something. But yeah, so, that's the bulk of it. I was just kind of curious if people would like to see some of that on the channel, if you'd rather not see that on the channel because you're strictly on this channel because, even the computer game I played is technically a hex and counter game on the computer. So just kind of curious of what you are. So I guess I'm asking you guys for feedback. And I'll leave this video up. Overall, I like all kinds of gaming. I do role-playing, miniature gaming, hex and counter, computer games. I mean, I like it all. I don't know about you guys, but, I kind of get into a little bit of everything. Some guys only like a certain thing, and that's fine. But just kind of curious what your thoughts are, and if you'd like to see some of this content, I'll put it up. If it's a deal breaker for you, I'd kind of like to know because... I want people to enjoy the channel. I don't really want to start a second channel. But again, I was just kind of curious on your thoughts and what you think and stuff like that. So I'll post this one up and I'll let you guys give me some feedback over time. And then I will be getting back to... I had a cold for quite a while, so whenever I try to do a video, I'd end up coughing and stuff. So I do want to get back to Last Chance for Victory, the Gettysburg one, and also the World at War solo thing. So I will be getting back to that. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.